basketball team.
Are you okay with that?
After I explain how we got to where we are.
Okay, I wonder.
Where's our? Okay, got it. I didn't want to. My back anyway. All right. This point, and then I brought some of my student leaders. And then one of our players. So a few years ago, and when I left there, I cried the whole way home. I was moved to tears by how the community came together and supported their youth. And I was like, this is what we were doing the research and trying to ask other people, they wanted to help me do it. And yeah, it was a lot of work. And everyone's like, oh, I don't have time to do that too. And I'm like, okay. But I was like, then I went to their soccer game and I was like, oh, we really need to do this. And I was blessed to be able to become the liaison for the Special Olympics. We're building bridges. And we're building bridges with different reservations. There's 4 tribes in our state that were picked to get funding to do Special Olympics. And our main focus of our mission for building bridges is inclusion in schools. And since I work in schools, that's great. I can help use what I'm doing at work and bring it to our schools. So I've been able to use the funding from building bridges and then build grants and we were able to get the uniforms, the equipment, and with the amazing work of going to my principal last year and just saying, please, can you help? I need you to sign off. I have to have the buy-in, right? And so I was like, Mr. Zimmerman, will you please support me in this? And he was like, oh yeah. Because he was always like, yes, we can do it. And so I'm like, I'll do all the work. And he's like, okay. And so then I was like, but it's a lot of work. So then Mr. Stainer, amazing man, he likes to sit in the back. He was our behavior teacher last year at Getland. He was like, I really, really believe in that. And to him to have such a great heart, he doesn't have a kid with a disability. He's a young man, just finished school, and he bought into wanting this big dream too. I'm a mom that has a kid with a disability, so meeting someone like him that wants to help change our community and make it better has made things so much better, because when I can't do something, he can do it. Like I was in the hospital with vertigo. He helped me get everything ready. And he has done amazing things for Marysville. He's now a DOP teacher at Marysville Getchell. He's leading the way and making change. He believes in inclusion for all of our students, which is so important. Because if you guys have all seen me through the years, all I've ever asked is for inclusion. And when my daughter was here, I was the mom that came in and I'm like, we need inclusion, we need acceptance. And it never happened, but now we can make that change now for all the other kids in Marysville. And so I just wanted to say it's been a lot of work, but Getchell is leading the way right now. And using the grant funding that's gonna run, one of them's gonna run out. I'm trying to get it in other schools, but I have some roadblocks. But Getchell is leading the way. And if we have to next year, we're willing to take on 2 teams for Getchell High School and invite MP kids to our team. Because we want both high schools to be able to have those kids at both of the schools to be able to play. Because we were blessed to be able to take the MP kids to the YMCA this week to practice for Hoops for Hope. We're gonna play tomorrow night in the fundraiser. And so the unified team's gonna play against the MP team with some of our alumni who have graduated in the past. And we're gonna play together on the court during second and third quarter. And it's bringing unity and the joy we have seen, like we have created a club. So you have to have certain layers to get more funding. So I'm like, we need to do this to get more money. And so Sam's like, okay, we're gonna make a new club. Because I already had my own club, the Native American Friends Club. And they always, all their work was to do with the kids with disabilities. So that was our goal. to more inclusion. Well, now we have Chargers United. So advisory that we have at Getchell that's club related. The NAFC, Chargers United come together and we all do things together. We do art projects together. We'll go and play games where it's, equaled out with gen ed students and kids with a disability, and they're playing games together and having conversations together. And they're building true friendships. I can say that probably about a month ago, there was lunch buddies in my office. We had 2 kids from Sam's class that came to lunch and they wanted to eat in my room with their friends, their gen ed peers. And it was the cutest thing. They all sat around the table together and they were talking and having such conversations. It was so beautiful. It moved me to tears to see what amazing inclusion could happen. And I had to send him a picture. I'm like, look at the lunch bunch. And he was like, what? And he ended up coming down, I think, because he wanted to see how cute it was that they were really engaged in having those conversations and friendships. It's amazing what we can do by teaching our youth acceptance of kids that might not be the same as them. And that's the important thing. Not everyone's gonna be the same. We have kids on the team that are higher functioning, down to really low functioning. Some that need helpers. So in unified sports, a helper, like my nephew Sam, he's a helper. He puts on like a penny and he will assist his cousin to help her try to shoot. She's made 2 baskets. And you hear the whole crowd. We packed the gym and it's amazing. So the youth are gonna read a little bit about what we've done. Sam doesn't want to talk, but I just want you guys to know how amazing Sam is. Best teacher, to step up to the plate and leave and then Leah is ready to answer a question and she has her own little script written. So you want to read off this? Or Leah, do you want to read what you wrote? Or can you talk in here? What do you say?
Yeah, you.
I.
Yeah.
Okay, Leah, what's my question for you? Leah, why do you love unified sports? What do you love about it?
Fun.
And what? She's gonna graduate this year. And so her and Sammy's, he's grown up with everyone, he wants to support his cousin. So there's amazing leaders that came and they will read off what we have been working on, and we have future goals. Like we have a board in my office, a paper. The vision, we have the vision. And we're gonna make that vision happen. We don't care what it's gonna take. We also wanna say thank you to the Green and Gold Booster Club. They have taken us on. I went to a meeting and said, please, I wanna be able to make money, to be able to keep giving more to the kids. And they're like, yes. So they're holding all the money at the big auction that we're having pretty soon, big baskets. And raise more money for the kids for just this sport. So we're also. All right. Yeah.
So Unified Champion School. This is just about us having inclusion, and yeah, we're gonna show you a little bit about it.
You change the next slide.
I think you said.
Okay, what is the goal of inclusion at MG? Inclusion is intentionally bringing people together, celebrates diversity, all as equal members and meaningful contributors, and extends equity.
Full inclusion means students with and without intellectual disabilities coming together, building friendships through sports and games, fostering teamwork, inclusion, and respect. There's Brock, me, and Leah, and then there's our club all together playing games.
Next slide, Jacob.
Okay, this is our whole school engagement and just some of the stuff that we do. The power of inclusion at MG engages the entire staff and student body, creates a socially inclusive school climate, builds a community of acceptance, and this is just a little bit of what we've started at Getchell. We do pack the stands, so we have a whole bunch of gen ed students come and support while we play against a different school. Candy for Inclusion Fridays, Amy and I and Sam have all taken a lot of time of stapling or taping a little piece of paper that has a little bit about inclusion onto candy and handing it out on Fridays. School-wide spread the word campaign. So this is just about raising inclusion. We had people sign the I pledge to spread inclusion. We had people sign that at our school check-in days, so everybody could see it while they were first walking in. And then we also have monthly drumming for inclusion, and yeah, we have Terrence come in and sing us a few songs. All of the kids get drums and they get to try it out too. And then Chargers United Club, that's a space for all of us to just connect and get together.
Our goals this upcoming future is unified soccer, which will be fun, but I don't want to and charity basketball tournaments, and hosting these tournaments to help with pushing our plan to spread inclusion and expanding inclusion in middle school and elementary schools. Because this is where many kids get picked on, because not a lot of kids know what's right when you're younger. So it's really good to know what inclusion means and how to act and be inclusive. And we want to grow our inclusive community by inviting other students like gen ed or and yeah. And this will help by other kids seeing that, you know, it's cool, because a lot of people think, man, that's not cool. But it's a lot, it means a lot for certain people. And being with gen ed kids, for those other kids, make them feel like they're being included and not cast away.
So I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. So we are working hard on continuing to do this stuff. Our work with the work I'm doing with Special Olympics, I was able to bring Special Olympics in, and they actually did PD training before school started. And they trained the Getchell staff on PD and what inclusion looks like. And they even brought in like different cards, and everyone got to talk through it. And there's different tiles, and all the teachers had to what they thought was inclusion and put it all together, and they had to then meet together and discuss it. So, and that was free training that I was able to bring to the school. So there's opportunities out there to help spread the awareness of, you know, we need to stop the, you know, you're entering on the side of the building. We need to, we're all coming in the front door together. Everyone matters together. We can be the change. And I hopefully with the support of all of you guys and everyone in this room, we can continue making the change for acceptance for everybody, because I think that, you know, in the years past, we all know that change needed to happen. And when I was a parent, I had my heart in it, and you know, and so then I got emotional, but now I see like, what could my daughter's life been if she had these opportunities? It would have been amazing for her to see the growth of my niece Leah. She wasn't, my sister was told Leah wasn't gonna be able to do anything. She was told that she wasn't gonna be able to do a lot of things, and Leah has shown everyone she can. She can do these things. And so believing in our kids, we can make the difference together. We're inclusion and acceptance. Stop the bullying, create the change, little gestures. I mean, I want to thank the community that comes to this boardroom, because I don't know if you've ever noticed, so there's community members that will hand me bags of candy, and people are looking at me like, why is she collecting candy? They're handing me candy to give to the club so they can donate candy to the kids with these inclusion cards that you saw in the picture. So we're handing out candy on Fridays. We took some time off from that because we've been so busy with our sports, but we're gonna bring it back in the spring again. And then we go candy for inclusion. And the more the kids started reading them, the less you would find the papers on the ground, and not, they would just eat the candy. Now the kids, you'll see the students actually read what's on the paper. And there'll be really good inclusive quotes about what inclusion is. And so we're seeing that our kids at Getchell are actually learning how to include others. And I've even gone into leadership classes, like Miss Gore's class, and talked to them about inclusion when they were gonna get a DLP kid in their room, you know, and how important it means. I mean, these youth go to birthday parties, they go bowling, they go to open mic, they go to everything. But I think, you know, we can be the change to create more change for everybody. And that's what I love for the support of you guys to help support us, spread it throughout just the whole district, not just Getchell. Because we can make a beautiful thing and make change happen. And I've made great, amazing friends at Special Olympics that are willing to step in and help support us. So that's the great thing about the funding I was able to find. And if need be, we will coach 2 teams of everything next year. Him and I alone if we have to. But we have some teachers, other teachers that have stepped up to the plate that have been amazing at Getchell. Sky Morrison, she's a new teacher. She's like, yes, I love this. She's been helping us. We have Miss Legore that shows up to every game, willing to help. We have so many amazing staffs that are there and they're present and they want to help. How can we help you? And so I think we can be doing things like this and making it more known. We can be the change for Marysville because the other districts all around us are already doing it. I mean, Lake Stevens just started. We got to play them not last week. Oh my gosh, they were like, we've been fighting this for a couple of years. We wanted to bring this and we're working hard to do it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's hard. I'm not lying. It is hard work, but we can do it. And I'm willing to do the work after work to get it done. But I just need the support and other staffs and other schools to buy in. So that's what I wanted to present to you. And if you're free tomorrow night, there's Hoops for Hope, which is been going on for 36 years in our district. It was created 36 years ago for Bill Fail. They raised enough money to buy him a wheelchair. And so he's continued on doing this for our community. And he's about ready to retire, he says. So he's like put me on his committee that I pulled you in during your time off. I'm like, come to this meeting with Bill. And so he got to meet Bill. And so we're gonna be doing Hoops for Hope, and the Getchell kids are ready to play against, we brought the MP kids and our alumni from MC from years past, but they still come every year and play. So we're all gonna play together during second and third quarter. So if you're free tomorrow night, come on out, support, it'll be fun, support, make a change. Is there anything else, Sam, you wanna say?
No, I just want to say thank you. I saw a lot of you guys out at the or Pack the Gym night, and it really means a lot to see your faces. So it's been an incredible journey and it's only started.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation and all of your leadership and work. and we are so lucky to have you. We're going to move on to the Family Communication Survey presentation presented by Jody Runyon.
Thank you so much. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to present this data tonight because I think what we have learned through this family survey will help us in our future communications, especially as we're trying to do as much outreach as possible for our families and our staff related to school consolidation. Diego, if you can advance to the next slide. So we're going to cover 6 parts this evening. I'm going to go through these relatively quickly because I know you've had an opportunity to look at them, but I'm happy to pause and answer any questions along the way. We'll be looking at the demographics and the level of participation, the satisfaction on the topic and the frequency, modes of communication, some miscellaneous areas, and conclusion on what did we learn from this survey. Next slide. So as I said, we surveyed our families, and that was done in the fall during the month of November. And we surveyed students also, but they were not part of the communication survey. So this year we included some climate survey questions around communications. And I just want to remind the board, for some of you that have served on the board for a while, this has been a goal of the board for a few years to kind of get grounded in a climate survey around what our families are saying about how we are reaching out to them. So this is kind of a baseline, which is also exciting. I want to keep it up in future years so we can continue to see the direction that it goes. And so I'm going to outline again what we heard, learned, and identified areas to celebrate, and also identify areas of needed improvement. Next slide. So these are just kind of some fun informational slides. We had 544 individual responses. You can see the areas of participation, quite a few at elementary, some at middle, some at high school, and some at 18 to 20, I should say 22 program. So these were individual responses. And while that doesn't seem like a lot, it's a number that I'm not unhappy with, but it's also an area of growth. Next slide. This was interesting. So while you just saw the areas of participation, this is responses by individual school. And I thought it was very interesting because when we look at the participation level was higher at the elementary level, we also have 10 elementary schools. So when I break it down to responses by school, you can see that the high schools were really well represented. And I was happy to see that because sometimes as our students get older, engagement can fall off. Next. Slide, please. And it really does align with our demographics as a school district. And I was pleased to see that because it shows that we are hearing voices from all areas. Next slide. Gender, this is really informational, not unusual, okay? Typically, women tend to respond more, but we did have some other voices, and that was good to see. Next slide. As I go through these next slides, I want to really point out that I'm doing this by school and by district. So where it's highlighted in kind of the gold color, the question was, how satisfied are you with the overall communication you receive from your child's school? And so breaking this down, 25%. So we're extremely satisfied, while nearly, 39% were quite satisfied and somewhat, so they're feeling pretty good about what they're receiving from their child's school. And then on the next slide, this is district. Now, I did want to put these side by side, but I'll come back to the you received from the school district as a whole. The extremely satisfied percentage was smaller, quite is close. It was 38.8% somewhat, and then there's some margin there for slightly, and a margin of 10% also for not. Again, I see these as learning opportunities. So now back to the child's school. What do they want to hear? I found this is fascinating to me because I love to see, what do you want to receive from your child's school? Obviously, academics was huge. And I feel like that's an area that we can really lean into because oftentimes that's between teacher and parent. On the academic side, school events, volunteer opportunities, and the school newsletter. So they like getting those newsletters, but they really want to hear about those academics. And on the opposite side of that, the school district, next slide, please, Diego. Looks a little different. This wasn't surprising because it shows me how folks view the district as a whole versus their child's school. I thought this was quite interesting because a lot of it is about operations. So our policies and our procedures, work that the board does, our budget is right up there, which is not unusual. Hearing from our superintendent, and then I thought it was interesting, the community events. And I'd like to drill down on that one in the future a little bit more, because I'm wondering, is that events that our school district is creating for the community, or is it Marysville and Tulalip community events? And this survey does not drill down enough to get us to that level of data. Next slide. So how often do people want to hear from their child's school? And I'll be sharing these results with the schools as well, so they have this information. Weekly is pretty popular, so you can see, and as needed, with a margin of daily and monthly built in. And next slide. Same for the district. Now this one's a little more evenly distributed, so they don't really expect to hear from us as often, but they do expect to get information primarily as needed. Next slide. So what does this tell us about satisfaction overall, the topics and the frequency? So if I'm looking at the top left, the kind of burgundy bubble, with satisfaction, they're extremely satisfied. 25% are extremely satisfied. So I use the highest levels of the survey results with school, communication, and 13.6% with district. Topics, academics, we already discussed that. And then I lumped together kind of those operational pieces, the policies, budget, and hearing from the school board, 67%. And then the frequency, schools weekly, districts somewhat weekly, but as needed. Those were two pretty close. Are there any questions so far as we're moving through this? No? Next slide. So how do people want to hear, or what do they primarily use to receive information from their school? This one surprised me a little bit because email was the highest response. And that was interesting. Text messaging following that write-up. Phone calls a little bit, website, and somewhat on social media as well. So email seems to be a preferred mode of communication from their child's school. And next slide. Same thing from the district. Email is a preferred mode. What I found with this is we do quite a bit of text messaging from the district, but our schools also use Remind, which is a text messaging, and that has gotten pretty popular with our teachers to communicate with families. So email's a top runner on both of these. Next slide. And this again is just a summary. What does it tell us? The top two for schools are email and text messaging. Top two for the district are also email and text messaging. but text messaging did not receive as high as a percentage as it does within schools. And they were able to select more than one mode in this option. And I think I've probably told this board a few times, but when I'm sending out communications, I use multiple modes. Folks will get a robocall, an email, and a text message all at once. But I have found that it's really the most effective way for us to reach our public where they are. And they can choose what works best. Next slide, please. We're no longer using Let's Talk, but I thought this was an interesting slide to put in. So the question that I asked is, are you familiar with the Let's Talk and how to use it with your child's school? This received a pretty low percentage, which if we were still using this, this would be very telling to me. This is very telling in a way that either it's not effective or we haven't communicated enough around how to use it or the accessibility for it. And as you may know, we've replaced this with a different mode of, so folks can still reach out to us in our schools. Next slide. Just want to add some in here about school website traffic. There's some studies being done around websites and how effective they really are. We are still getting some website traffic, but you can see it's not as frequent for our schools. And I think the importance of keeping the web pages up with relevant and timely information is really, really key to this. Next slide, please. This, I was very happy. Matter of fact, I think I did a happy dance around this because this has been a goal that I've been working on for the past 3 years. So when we asked families if they received communications in their preferred language, 96.5% said yes. And that has probably doubled in the last couple of years. So I was very pleased with the outcomes on this one. Next slide. This one made me smile too, because this has been an ongoing concern. I'm not sure why we're getting feedback. Is everybody-
Turn off your mics. If you're not using it, turn it on.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Nancy. So there have been some high concerns around accessibility and internet access. So of those surveyed, 99.3% said they did have internet access, either in the home, on a smartphone. But that was good news because that's concerning. That can be a barrier for so many families. Next slide. So in summary, as I said earlier, we have some areas to celebrate and areas to improve upon. We also learned that families want to receive different topics from their school and the school district. So that helps me to work with our leadership team and shape our messaging, and also to help the schools know what families really want to hear and learn from their schools. I do feel the areas to celebrate are our families are engaged through multiple platforms, and the communicating with families in their preferred language is working. Nearly 100% responded that they have internet access, and multiple ethnicities were represented that match our student demographics. But those areas of improvement, we need to make website content more relevant and timely, improve outreach on how families can electronically contact schools. And that was the formerly Let's Talk, and it's called Contact Us. Review and study district-wide information sharing to increase extremely satisfied percentage. So that will be an obvious goal area that I would like to look at for the future. And then another goal area is to increase the survey participation. And next slide is just saying thank you and answering any questions that you might have.
Thank you for all of your work on this. Do you have questions from the board?
Yeah, I have a question. How are people informed about the survey for the opportunity to take this? Was it just on the the district website, or was anything sent directly to parents?
So it was sent directly to parents. So as I mentioned, I use multiple modes of communication. So it was posted on the web, direct email. I used text messaging to send it out, and I also sent reminders for follow-up. I will say that there are times, though, we have multiple surveys happening at the same time. And sometimes when there's too many surveys happening, you get a lower response. And overall, I don't have the full percentage of our overall family survey. I only focused in on my areas. I don't, this Melissa Danzant may have that, just to see what our overall participation was. But there is survey fatigue, and that happens. We had a couple other surveys happening at the same time. But multiple ways to answer your question.
Yeah, and like normally on a survey, my understanding is usually you're shooting for like a 20 to 30% response. If you can get that, that's pretty successful. Is that kind of the goal normally?
We feel good when we get 10%.
Oh, okay.
So I think a 20 to 30% would be a high response level. But I'd love to see that.
Well, yeah, I'm just.
Just, I guess. A comment that it's nice to have this survey information as we move through the next phase of consolidation and closure of schools, and like that, that we heed this data and make the adjustments to make sure that we're engaging our families with this information we have about communication and how families want to be communicated with. But thank you.
So, light of these results, I mean, like, okay, you've got the data. What are the plans for any changes? Like, one thing that kind of jumps out at me, if 90+% people want email, and 16% website, the district website, would it make more sense to put information like, say, for example, the weekly reconfiguration updates, like send an email and say, hey, click on this link to get more information or something like that, as opposed to just putting it on the district website? Is that, I mean, are there any plans for that?
I think, and I'll consult with the whole team around this too, but I feel like we need to keep reaching people where they are. And when I say that, we use all modes of communication, because some folks are tied into text messaging, other folks, they don't even read email. But for an example, when we're sending out the weekly updates, those are sent in direct email to families, to staff, and posted on the website. So we're doing multiple ways of making sure that that information gets directly communicated.
I think that's really helpful because I know, certainly for myself, sometimes you need to see it 2 or 3 times before you actually, dive in and read it, or it sinks in, right? So I appreciate that you're using all of those different modes, and appreciate that we have this baseline to kind of start from. I think it's really helpful. I'm curious, when folks were talking about what types of information they wanted to see, did they have options to choose from, or was there a place where they could kind of just give you their personalized answer?
So they had areas to choose from. So
Okay.
it was a drop-down menu, but they could choose multiple areas.
Okay.
But it was a little bit self-limiting on being able to expand, because there weren't any questions left open-ended where they could just type in their thoughts. So those are some other ways that we can think about looking into it deeper. And individual schools can do that too.
Sure. Yeah.
They can, and often do.
Yeah.
Reach out to their families.
I know
directly.
people like to see what the kids are working on and what they're
Mhm.
doing, even if it's not, somebody's trophy or an end goal, but we're working on robotics in the classroom, or we're working on this kind of science project, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then my other question is really kind of outside the scope of this, because this is really focused on the parents that we have now,
Mhm.
how are we reaching our community folks?
That's a great question, and it's harder than it used to be because we don't have a local newspaper here anymore. I mean, we do have the Everett Herald and information does get sent to them through press releases, but sometimes it gets picked up, sometimes it doesn't. But I have a key communicator sign up list, and I think right now there's probably about 115 people in the community that have signed up, because if they're not in our system,
Right, right,
we don't have any way to reach them.
right.
And we don't mail community newsletters anymore, because the cost of those has gone from a 30,000 annual cost to 50,000 to produce and print those and mail them to the community. It's really outrageous. So we have to kind of rely on our website, making sure that our website is a presence. I also work with community partners like the city of Marysville and the tribes, and have them push information that we send out to their community, and
Mhm,
also share our
mhm,
website.
mhm.
So I'm looking for ways to expand, and I'm always open to more ideas around that. And then have the key communicator sign up. So for example, when I do the weekly updates with Dr. Rumba, I send that to our key communicator list too. So those folks that are connected in the community get that information, as well
Right.
as our city council and our tribal board
Okay. Yeah, it's a
and other
hard,
key leaders.
it's a hard group to get to
Yeah.
when they're not kind of in the fold already, so to
Yes.
speak. Any other questions before we move on? Okay.
And I just one quick final comment. I just didn't put it in the PowerPoint, but I wanted to let you know that each tool that we use for communications is translatable in multiple languages. So
That's
that helps
awesome.
with that engagement as well. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, on to school consolidation.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to give you another update again. Wanted to take a moment just. And we kind of had a quick conversation around the rapidly changing component of our promise, and that they could expect to experience feeling rapid change between now and June in preparation for the coming school year. So important to kind of ground ourselves in that. What you will notice as we move through the slides is an attempt to provide feedback in some common buckets. So the titles on these slides make an effort to try to keep them consistent from one board meeting to the next, so that there's some predictability. And then there's always, of course, space for other at the end. So you will see a fiscal consideration and update every other week, and so forth in the other slides. So I thought it would be important for us to lead with fiscal. There were some questions about that last time. And so just reminding the board that we have a budget capacity for $350,000. Those would be one-time costs. You've seen what these are associated for in your last update, but I wanted to be sure that you saw those again here. They're not disaggregated by dollar amount this time. They were last time. And then lastly, our HR department is working with our labor groups to determine what costs are associated with moving staff from one building to another. So we will honor those agreements. Just so that you were able to see, while not on the same slide, that we do have those costs associated and broken out for you here. So you've got a copy of this, and you'll be able to hang on to that if you have questions. And this has come directly from our budget department. Not as many updates for facilities this time around. The big add is the link that you see here. And I think you have this in your email, so you can open that link if you would like. But what it is a what to expect by week. And that is in our HR department, and then maintenance and operations, which is facilities, so that our staff know exactly what is going to be happening in their world each week between now and June. And so, for example, staff could open that up and know that boxes and tape will arrive to their school before spring break. They have a certain number of weeks to pack, kind of things that are happening during the summer, that sort of thing. Similarly, on the HR side, we hope to be able to have staffing decisions take place between March 1st and April 28th. It gives folks a sense of comfort if they can kind of see a timeline. So that's the what to expect link that is open, and you can certainly take a look at it. We are continuing to assess the retrofit needs at Marysville Middle. We did a walkthrough with Greg last week, and we were able to begin thinking about how we will calendar out summer work. And then some feedback and questions from the community, which I think you heard when we were at Liberty last week, around upkeep of the exterior of the building so that it doesn't become an eyesore when it is empty. So that is also part of our work in the facilities end. So staffing and HR, Lori Taylor has been busy working with multiple labor groups. It's a lot to get meetings scheduled, get folks together, and I appreciate all of her efforts in that. The transfer window for our certificated staff is open. As you know, that closes March 1st. And between now and then and March to the end of April, we want to make every effort possible to place folks where they would want to be for the 25-26 school year. And I think I mentioned previously that we really want staff to be in a place where they feel most interested and most successful. So that will continue. And as we get meetings on the books with these labor groups, we will update that what to expect weekly, week by week plan so that everybody can see when the work would begin and when it would finish by a bargaining unit. So that's kind of exciting for staff to be able to see that. In terms of communication, I won't go down these individually because you have them, but what I wanted for you to note was the first word in each one of those lines gives you a sense of our frequency. So daily, weekly, ongoing, monthly, weekly. Just a commitment to continue to communicate as frequently as we can and as openly and transparently with every stakeholder group that needs and expects and is entitled to information about our updates. One of the things that we try to attune ourselves to is feedback on the communication. Sometimes when you engage in big projects like levies, it can get to the point where folks are like, it needs to be less now. And so we're trying to just pay attention to feedback on that as well, because we don't want our communications to become an irritation. But so far, the feedback's been positive and appreciative, and please continue. There was even a request around, could we continue a weekly update to our families forever? They just felt that that was something they appreciated getting on a recurring basis. So that was nice to hear. Evidence of collaboration. So early on, we had talked about our efforts to ensure that we're doing this work alongside our staff. And so how can we provide evidence for you and for our community that we are in fact making every effort to do that. So just a couple of the site visits that have taken place. We've been to Liberty, we've been to Marysville Middle School, as you know. Collaborative planning meetings are continuing with our building administrators. Our high school administrators are joining that work so that they are informed, and we're doing some sort of cross training between the elementary and the middle so that they are aware of what's happening at one another's schools. And within that work, we're really focusing on instructional model, technical supports, communication, and information sharing. So it's been nice. So these last two slides are the bulk of the work that's taken place in the last 2 weeks. And so there is an approach to implementing change that's called a tight, loose approach. It's not something that I came up with, but it's something that I've used before. And what that really means is we come up with community agreements around what the guardrails of a project are. That's the tight. And that is in best practice developed with others, not by me or Dave and I in an office. And so we've worked with our administrators at the elementary and the middle school level, and we have agreements on what our instructional model will look like next year. And we'll go through these quickly. But the loose is the work of the weeds, the how schools will develop and deliver on the agreements that were made sort of in the tight section. And so over the last couple of weeks, we have come to consensus at the elementary that we want to be sure that our elementary schools have choice around a blocked schedule. So the non-negotiable is that there'll be some kind of blocking configuration at the upper grade or grades. And that is paired with explicit instruction at grades 5 and 6 to support academic success, both at the elementary level in ways that we've, have not yet seen or can see, but also what does that success look like at the elementary level? And I think the board has expressed an interest and desire to be sure that our sixth graders are more successful than they have been. And then there's collective interest in us not just seeing a dip happen at grade 7. Because we could predict that if we didn't change something that dip we're seeing at 6 would simply repeat itself. And then schools are going to capture their instructional models in their SIPs, which of course will go to the board and the board will vote and adopt those. And then of course that we honor everything that is agreed on in our CBAs. And if we need any memorandums of understanding that we develop those. And then the loose structure, like I said, is what are the routines and the structures and the schedules that building administrators will build with their staff using existing structures, existing meeting structures to be able to deliver on the tight agreements. So I want to pause there and kind of give you a minute to ask questions or seek clarification on what we're looking at for elementary.
Because I'll start. It might be too early to be real specific on this, but when you're looking at block scheduling at upper grades, any idea of how that would format? And I'm thinking, with transfer window for people, if somebody is saying, well, gee, I may be interested in being a sixth grade block teacher, but what does that look like? Has there been anything more concrete developed for that, so people would have to be able to make an informed choice, they would want to try that out or not?
Yes, so that's been a point of conversation every step along the way. And it has gotten as detailed as, like my teaching certificate, for example, is 612 science. So while I might have an interest in teaching sixth grade, I'm somewhat limited and I don't know how helpful I would be at a comprehensive elementary school. So those are in consideration, and Vonnie and Lori have helped pull teacher certificates to know on the onset where folks are. Is limiting. Most of them are 412 that provide a little more flexibility that aren't narrowed in on one specific content area. So it's been pretty constant, both conversation and worry and concern that we do in every one of the 10 elementary schools. This is a first step in letting those interested
To fifth grade as well, and that might make it more. Do that blocking if you said, okay, well, we've got
then fifth and sixth. So great question. Any other questions? A little bit different. Follow the same approach, a tight, loose. Again, the community agreements that we settled on yesterday after school, those were developed with, it came down to this an opportunity for us to prioritize core instruction. The plans for monitoring progress and collecting data, but they feel the next step for them is, well, what do we do with that data? How do we design supports for individual students and groups of students? And when you have a smaller band that's 7 and 8, that is a little easier task to do. So they're excited. And then a lot of interest in better preparation for students for high school. And that was really a great conversation to have with our high school principals present, with sharing the noticings that they see for kids in grades 9 and 10 when they approach our high school, where they see gaps and where they see strengths for kids. So again, similarly, the loose with our middle school staff and their, or administrators and their staff, is to work to design what that looks like. And, you know, there could be design differences from one school to another that are nuanced based upon, you know, the kids and families and staff there, but everything would align with the tight agreements on both the elementary and the middle school side. Any questions on middle school? Okay. Okay. Director Michael, you had a few questions that you emailed before. Did you want Dr. Burgess and I to address those?
That would be great. Do you
Okay.
have them with
I have
with
them.
you?
Yes, I printed them.
Perfect.
So the first question was about engaging legacy students and staff about that transition. And Dr. Burgess wanted to respond to that.
Yes, it's critically important in order to carry out the wishes of the board, to actually have site visits to both Totem and to Marysville Getchell. And I hope to have that arranged as early as next week. And we'll get the chance to take the building administrator and teachers that she identifies to those sites, just to see how they might fit into those particular buildings. So that's planned for next week.
Okay. And then the second question was around music across 6th grade at all sites.
Right. Obviously, this is a pet peeve of mine, and we know that we will have a music classroom available at the repurposed MMS site. So we will have the opportunity to actually offer instrumental music during the school day there. It is my hope that the district will begin a 5th and 6th grade 0-hour class at our 2 middle schools for all students that are interested. And parents would transport there at the sites in the morning, and then the district would transfer those students back to their feeder schools after their 0-hour class. I'm hoping that we can double the number of students that are participating in instrumental music in our district. And I think that we're only limited by our imagination. Those models that I just described have been employed successfully in other school districts. And I think we have every reason to believe they'll be successful here.
Thank you.
So you're talking about other 5th and 6th grade students that are not at MMS would
Yes.
be transferred to Cedar Crest or Totem for a 0-hour class.
Right. And MMS 0-hour as well. So it could be, although that would be the new Liberty, but that would still have an opportunity to offer a 0-hour music class at 3 different locations.
So all of our students are accessing the same programs. Essentially, yes.
Yes, they could, based on student interest.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. And then there was a third question on 6th grade curriculum. So I am not giving any spoiler alerts, but we're not in a position to adopt curriculum at this point in time because of cost. But we do have existing materials, and our teachers will be the experts on where those materials go and how they're utilized, along with their administrators. And really what we want to ensure is that students are having exposure to standards, and that the right materials that support instruction to standards follow them to their schools. And there's a library component in there as as well that we'll be working with our librarians on.
Okay, yep, thank you.
Last slide was just referenced, but I felt compelled, do you mind advancing one slide, please? To just show you, I think there's one more slide. There we go. How we kind of envision ourselves as a pre-K-12 system. And so we're really taking a deep look at grades 5 and 6 and grades 7 and 8. And in that, when you take a deep dive, I just like to be thoughtful of the fact that we have pre-K-4 on this end and 9-12 here, and that we don't articulate to the point where we have disequilibrium happening, and that, you know, when the time is right, that we take a full system look pre-K-12. So there's not any type of imbalance or extra attention given at some grades and less at others. So this was just a reminder on that. Right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Any other questions? You're good. Okay. All right. I was going to say me too for once. All right. So at 5:49, we're going to close our work study. We'll take about an 11-minute break here and reconvene at 6 o'clock.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
I'd like to start with our flag salute. Director Harris.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And for our land acknowledgement tonight, it's going to be read by ASL instructor Corey Parks. And I think we have some students that will be signing for us as well. Thank you so much. Okay, on to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, superintendent's report.
Well, I'd like to start by just welcoming our new student reps to our board. Thank you for your presence. And I'm going to jump right in. And Vonnie, would you introduce our new members of the board?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. We have 2 of our 3 members. We started on a Wednesday. So as for all of us, Wednesdays aren't on our normal Monday pattern. But today I have with me Ileana, who is representing Heritage High School, and she's really excited to be here. And you'll get to talk to her later on in the meeting a little bit. And then I have Gabe over here, and Gabe is from Legacy High School. That's right. You can clap because we're really excited to have them both here with us today. And I'm excited for the relationships that you'll get to form with them. They're looking forward to learning a lot.
Yes, indeed. And welcome.
And welcome. We're really happy to have you here. It's great to have the student voice back in this room. Moving on to staff, student, and community recognitions, we're going to start with the proclamation of Career and Technical Education Month by Ryan Beatty.
I'd like to introduce instructor Chris Meixel, who is the business instructor at Getchell, and she's going to introduce the students who are going to read the proclamation.
Good evening. My name is Chris Meixel. I am the Getchell business teacher as well as the FBLA advisor. I've been in the districts for since 2000. And tonight I have my FBLA president, Amaya Hoover, and my DECA president, E.G. Von Mason, who will be reading the proclamation for CT. Whereas February 1st, through the 28th, 2025, has been designated Career and Technical Education Month by the Association for Career and Technical Education, and
Whereas CTE offers students the opportunity to gain the academic, technical, and employability skills necessary for true career readiness. And
whereas CTE programs participate in authentic, meaningful experiences that improve the quality of their education and increase their engagement and achievements, and
whereas CTE provides students with career exploration opportunities earlier in their educational experience, which enables them to make informed and beneficial decisions about their academic coursework and pursue established programs of study and career pathways. And
whereas CTE programs ensure that employers have access to qualified and thriving workforce, ensuring our nation is a strong and competitive economy.
now, therefore, the Marysville School District Board of Directors of Marysville, Washington, Snohomish County do hereby proclaim February 1st to the 28th, 2025 as Career and Technical Education Month and urge all citizens to become familiar with the services and benefits offered by the career and technical education programs in this community and to support and participate in these programs to enhance their individual skills and productivity. Proclaimed this 19th of February, 2025.
So thank you so much.
I would also like to extend a verbal invitation for you to attend our next meeting in Marysville, Getchell, as part of our Career and Technical Education Month, which I have sent an email earlier, and I would really appreciate as a chapter that you attend our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the invitation. I know we were talking about it earlier, and we're going to certainly try to get some representation there. Moving to student recognition, Cedar Crest Middle School, introduced by Vonnie Walker and presented by Russ Wilsterman.
Thank you, Board and Superintendent. I'm going to just turn this right over to Mr. Wilsterman and get our recognition started.
How do I follow Ryan? Can I borrow your hat, Ryan? All right. He's just got more style than I do. All right, we have 4 students here that we are super excited to recognize this evening. We do something at Cedar Crest that's a quarterly recognition breakfast. And my staff, truly we have 700 incredible students at Cedar Crest. But I have my staff each pick one each time we have a quarterly recognition breakfast. And it's pretty exciting to be able to narrow that down to 4 students and be able to recognize them in front of you this evening. So thank you for this opportunity. These are 4 students that I had my staff select out of our 700 students. Each grade level selected one, and then I selected an individual myself. So we have 4 tonight that we would like to recognize. So if I'm going to have all 4 of them come up. Gio Garcia Guillen, he's a 6th grader at Cedar Crest. Come on up, Gio. Gildas Kwasi. Gildas. Johannel Anand. And Jocelyn Coding. And I wonder, would one of you be willing to tell the board what our Cedar Crest commitment is? Come on, Gildas. Gildas will do it. Come on.
Our Cedar Crest commitment is for us to be respectful, responsible, safe, and determined.
Thank you, Gildas. So those are our pillars, and these 4 students have been selected because they exemplify those 4 pieces of our Cedar Crest commitment: responsible, respectful, safe, and determined. And we see that with these 4 and everything they do. So I did ask each grade level to write me a little something. So this is what the 6th grade staff and teachers collectively feel about Gio. Geo exhibits every Cedar Crest Timberwolf pillar. His level of responsibility and maturity is beyond his years. His self-advocacy for his success is much appreciated by all of his teachers. We wholeheartedly celebrate Geo, for he is an exemplary student and an amazing human being. So here's Gildas. So we have two 7th graders tonight. Gildas exemplifies what it means to be a Cedar Crest Timberwolf. He is kind and friendly to all he meets. It is not uncommon to hear him saying good morning to all he passes by. In class, he encourages his classmates to complete their work and do their best. His leadership skills are beyond that of a middle school student. He continues to seek to always do his best as well as help others. I will say, I often see Gildas holding the door for students. And he's in our leadership, but he's such a good example. And he's always interacting positive. He'll come up to adults and have great interactions. So Gildas was actually my selection, but I still had 7th grade team write that. Our other 7th grade, our 7th grade selection is Johannel Anand. Johannel demonstrates the CMS pillars on a daily basis. He is hardworking and does his best to actively participate in every class. He also is very helpful to his classmates and wants everyone to be successful. His leadership, work ethic, and attitude are greatly appreciated by all of his teachers. Thank you. And then our 8th grade student is Jocelyn. And Jocelyn is an excellent example of Cedar Crest family pride. She is a student leader and an outstanding athlete who achieves academic excellence while taking advanced classes and earning high school credit. Most importantly, she's an example of kindness and generosity to everyone she meets. Thank you, Jocelyn, for making CMS a better place. I noticed Jocelyn early on in 6th grade when she was out schooling the boys in basketball during lunch. I mean, incredible. All 4 of these individuals have unlimited potential. And I truly appreciate the example that the 4 of you set. And I know that all 4 of you are going to do amazing things in this world. And I can't wait to see what, your futures hold. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing those outstanding students with us. More outstanding students. We are on to Seroptimus recognition for the month of February, presented by Holly Cheney.
Thank you, school board. Hopefully you can hear me okay. It sounds really quiet right here, but I think everybody can hear it. So hi, my name is Holly Cheney, and I'm with the Marysville International, excuse me, Seroptimus International of Marysville. I'll just kind of give a little briefing on who we are and what we do for the folks that are in the crowd that may not be familiar with us. So Seroptimus International of Marysville is a community service organization, and we've been in the Marysville area for about 45 years. Seroptimus means best for women in Latin. And our focus is typically primarily on women and girls, supporting women and girls in our community. Although we do quite a bit of different kinds of outreach in the community and support many different local projects and organizations. And our support comes in a lot of different ways. We do scholarships, we do awards, our crew of people all volunteer with lots of things in the community, and we also raise funds and financing for other clubs and other organizations in the community that really support many people in the community, not just women and girls. And one of our very favorite projects that we do is getting to interview students at the Marysville high schools and select a couple students, usually a boy and a girl, for Student of the Month. And so basically these students are interviewed. We interview them, but they're identified by teachers and counselors at the school district or at the high schools. And so they let us know, who we get to meet with. And I have to say that it never ceases to amaze us how absolutely fabulous these kids are, these young adults are. They are very hardworking and very talented. And anyway, quite remarkable. So we interviewed some from Marysville Getchell High School this past week or so, and they were all amazing candidates. But we did pick two, a boy and a girl of the month. And so I want to go ahead and start with Charlie Dick, if she can join me up here. I'm going to brag on her a little bit. Right. So let me tell you a little bit about Charlie. So she is a National Honor Society member. Sorry, I'm halfway between do I need my glasses or not? She's a National Honor Society member and is the president of the Native American and Friends Club. She's also on the leadership board for Leah's Dream Activity Club. She's also in the ASB sort of with leadership type involvement. She's the manager for boys wrestling. She's also a musician. She plays the flute for the band and has served in a number of leadership capacities there. She's been on the leadership board. She's a section leader. She's served at some point as a drum major. I don't know if she currently is, but she has done that in the past. And she really lit up during the interviews. We were talking about one of the things that she's been involved with is the Special Olympics United Champion School. Am I saying that right? Champion School? Okay, yeah. Championship, is it championship? Sorry, anyway, this is a involvement where there's actually, I probably shouldn't talk about it as much as you probably could tell us more about it, but basically it's a Special Olympics and kind of opening up athletic participation at Getchell High School. So she was involved with that through various ways. And she's very, very passionate about helping make sure that everybody feels really included. And she has a huge heart for encouraging other people. She's also volunteered a number of other ways. She's volunteered with the Tulalip Tribes Education Department, Marysville Parks and Rec. She's done some peer tutoring. She's been involved with the Big Buddy program and also has attended leadership camp through the Association of Washington Student Leaders, among other things. And if that wasn't enough, she also works. She has a job, and she's been recognized as Employee of the Month before. So she has a true spirit of giving of her time and her talents, which as a community service organization really warms our heart. So without further ado, let her say a couple words about what her future is, because it's quite bright. So why don't you share with them what your plans are?
Hi, thank you for that. I am Charlie. I am a senior in high school, and so next year I'm planning to attend a four-year university. My goal is to major in psychology and become a clinical psychologist, hoping to work with youth and adolescents. As you know, our children are our future, and I really want to be able to impact them before they have to go on and face life, really. and just help them with their mental health and really making sure that everyone has the resources to succeed.
Oh.
Hold on. I don't want you to go too far. Stay close because at the end, I'm hoping we can do a quick picture. Okay, I'm going to now invite a lovely gentleman to join me up here, Eugene Bautina. Bautino. I'm sorry, I'm saying that correctly. Am I saying it incorrectly? Thank you, Faustino. Okay. So let me brag on Eugene a little bit. Eugene is a athlete. He actually plays volleyball. He's the captain for the Blue Royals U18 national team. He's a member of the Asian Pacific Islanders Student Union. He's been involved as a leader in the Link or Charger program. He's a ASB member and sort of does his part to give the students a voice. He has also served as the Marysville Getchell High School girls volleyball manager, and he is working on his college education right now while he's in high school, doing running start and college in the high school. He also works as well, and he's been recognized as Employee of the Month as well. And one other little note that I caught from his write-up was that he was awarded the NJROTC. So if people aren't familiar with that, it's the Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training Corp. Cadet of the Year for 2022, which of course you have to be a top student in academics, you have to have strong work ethic, and your participation in the TOC. So additionally, he's volunteered in a number of ways with his church, and also through AmeriCares, helping with the Southern California wildfire relief effort. He has a true interest and passion for public health, and he strives to be a role model for the next generation. So with that said, let him share a little bit about his plans for the future, how he's going to make the world a better place.
Thank you for that. I just want to first and foremost say to you guys, I just want to thank you guys for this like amazing opportunity for student recognition. It's very rare that like I've actually like seen a lot of recognition from where like I'm from and where like I travel. So it's just really amazing to have that opportunity with you guys. In regards to my future, I just plan on, as she said, I'm aiming for my associates in arts and science, which is just my direct transfer agreement in public health. I plan on transferring to the University of Washington or maybe somewhere in state to be able to pursue public health and just be able to provide like just for the people in the medical field and just be able to provide for the future generation, as she said. But again, thank you.
Let's go ahead and. That's okay. Let's have the family here. Family's coming up too.
Mr. Optimist for recognizing some of our outstanding students. We really appreciate it. Jody, looks like you're all ready for staff recognition.
I'm ready, and I feel like I need to do a drum roll, like for all of our students and our staff. So I don't want to remind everybody again, but it is Career and Technical Education Month. So it seems very appropriate that we recognize a staff member in CTE. So I'm going to ask Ryan Beatty, the Director of Career and Technical Education, and I also say College and Career Readiness, to come on up.
Thank you. In CTE, we'd like to recognize someone who is our right hand, our left hand, our left foot. She kind of does everything. Randy Miller, if you come up here for a minute. Randy kind of embodies everything that our department's all about. There's not a department, a school, a building where Randy doesn't have a great connection with when we are trying to get stuff done, trying to figure something out. Our district has lots of puzzles and our department has lots of puzzles, and Randy helps figure those things out. She's a budget hawk. If there's anything with CT dollars that is might be assigned to somewhere else, like she's on it. We figure it out. And being mindful with our dollars in our department. She's kind, she's hardworking. She's just like everything that our district wants in an employee. So no one deserves to be recognized more than Randy. And just we are so appreciative that she is in our district and she's in our department.
Guys, one more
Okay.
time.
Perfect. That's great.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I think, Ryan, we're bringing you right back up. It's time for our staff, student, and board reports, and I heard it's CTE month. I mean, I maybe,
Know that?
might be.
Directors and superintendent, thank you so much for allowing us to present tonight and give an update on what's going on in the world of CTE in our department. I can sit here and talk for 2 weeks. We'll try to be, used to be called vocational education, used to be your shop classes, home ec, stuff like that. It's still those things, but it's a lot more. Sometimes people think that CT, I think people kind of say it's less than, but it's not. It's for students that aren't going to college, for students that are going to college. It's for students going right into the workforce. It's for students trying to figure out what kind of career they want. When I went up to Getchell like a year and a half ago and sat on a student panel, and there's like 30 students in that room, 20 of them said they came to school because of one of our CTE programs. So it's important. A few updates, and then I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let some students and staff members talk a little bit. The Schoolhouse Cafe, which is our student-run restaurant here in the district, hasn't been operational to the public in a while. And our current instructor, Chef Jeff, is out on leave. And so we have someone temporary in there right now, Chef David. And Chef Dave has gotten the program up and running until Chef Jeff comes back. And they just opened last week for the first time to the public. They served 20, they did a reservation for 20 folks here in the community, and it went swimmingly. And so with that, they are going to be opening up on Tuesdays and Thursdays, kind of going forward. You'll see some information at your seats. There's a phone number to call to kind of do a reservation so that they know how many people to expect. But please give our students an opportunity to show what they can do in our Schoolhouse Cafe. We started a collaboration with our science program. So we're offering forensics for the first time this school year. So we're excited. We just got off the ground at both MP and MG. And so at the next opportunity that CT has to speak, we might give you an update on forensics. And then we've received over $300,000 in grants that CT has applied for and received. We have, our middle school students at Totem cooked for over 300 people or 600 people at the community event that happened just about a month ago. And so they did all the prep. They did all that food, and the teacher and everyone that went to it just could not believe how well that they did in that. We have student competitions that students are doing. They're going to FBLA and DECA, and we have a new student club. Can I get Mr. McTee and Sky up here? So Tim McTee, Mr. McTee is our health science teacher up at Getchell, and he teaches sports medicine and a few other health science courses. I'll let him introduce Sky, but they have just started a new club at Getchell, and we're excited to get that off the ground.
Hello, I'm Tim McTee, and yes, I teach sports medicine and biomedical science at Getchell. At the beginning of the year, Sky came up to me first day of school, said, I want to start a HOSA club. And I've been trying to get this club off the ground, and I said, go for it. Just tell me what you need. Sky?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. My name is Sky Hobley, and I am a senior at Marysville Getchell High School. This year, I've had the incredible honor of founding and serving as president of our school's first ever HOSA Club. It's an organization dedicated to students who are passionate about pursuing careers in healthcare. For as long as I can remember, I have aspired to become a doctor, specifically a neonatologist. My journey toward this goal has been shaped by my experiences volunteering at Providence Hospital and Seattle Children's Hospital, where I was first introduced to HOSA. Seeing the impact that HOSA had on students across the state inspired me to bring this opportunity to Marysville Getchell. None of this would have been possible without the support of Mr. McTee, whose guidance has been instrumental in launching our club. I am incredibly grateful for his dedication and encouragement. Additionally, I am very grateful for Mr. Beatty and the CTE program. They have supported HOSA Club vastly, and the members of HOSA Club and I are deeply appreciative of this, so thank you. This year, HOSA Club has made great progress. In just a few weeks, from March 11th to March 13th, our members will travel to Spokane to participate in the Washington State Leadership Conference. This event will allow us to engage in healthcare-based competitions, recognition events, and hands-on skills labs, providing invaluable experience as we prepare for our future careers. Additionally, in April, we plan to partner with the American Red Cross to host a blood drive, reinforcing our commitment to community service and public health. As with any new initiative, we have faced our fair share of challenges. However, the experience of leading this club has been nothing short of rewarding. I have built lifelong friendships, expanded my knowledge of healthcare, and gained leadership skills that I will carry with me for years to come. HOSA has not only strengthened my passion for medicine, but has also shown me the power of teamwork, perseverance, and service. Thank you.
So HOSA is a CTE leadership club. And for those of you that don't know, every CTE class is tied to a extended leadership opportunity, which are CTSOs are called. And so HOSA is a CTSO, FBLA, DECA, NJRTC. Am I forgetting FBLA, DECA? Like Skills USA, TSA. The only one we basically don't have right now is we don't have egg classes, so we don't have FFA club yet. Yeah. So, and then I'd like to bring up our maritime program, Mr. Gable.
I don't know if you guys know, but there's about 170,000 careers in maritime in the state of Washington. Average wage with benefits about $120,000. Right? Entry-level deckhand can start off making around 22,000, or not 22,000, but $22 an hour, about $45,000 a year. Dylan is one of my students, this year, sophomore. Dylan, sophomore has come to the class with positive attitude every day. We break up into different groups. Dylan to be one of those that step up, he leads the class. He requires everybody to want to do their work. Back in November, we took part in a program with Sea Grant where students could get into financial filter. Okay. It's called a water survival training course. And with this course, the students are, which are certified to be an instructor of these life-saving practices on board vessels. For our students that are below 18 years of age, they get a certificate. That certificate, you know, looks good on a resume. Looks good. Loud enough, right? Up there. Online. Sorry. Sorry about that. So there's a lot of great opportunity for these students. As I said, our class got into this, went through the training with Sea Grant. They got into the pool. They have to put on their life suits within 30 seconds. They learned how to get into a life raft together, how to support each other, pull each other into the raft. And so now, you know, with that, they've got certificates that can help them get, you know, these jobs on vessels, you know, later on in their, you know, careers. But the whole class, again, is about inspiring our students to get into these great careers in maritime. And hopefully, you know, like Dylan right now, his father is currently a longshoreman. Is that correct? So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Dylan, yeah, my dad has been doing the longshoreman thing, the maritime program, since he was 18. He was like, pretty good job. I want to get into that career too, so I think it's really cool. He's a crane operator. He unloads the containers on the ship. Actually, 90% of those goods of that ship go across the ocean, coming into the stores. He unloads that every day. I think it's really cool. Really good. I want to become something like that one day.
Some of the things that our students are learning in class, they're learning about buoyancy, fluid dynamics. We're going to be building cedar strip canoes. Right now, we're building a boat. It's called a mouse boat. It's made out of a 4mm plywood, about 1.5 sheets of plywood. The students are going to be working on that. So that's pretty exciting. I think we've been bringing employers in from the various companies around the area. We brought in Aspen Power Catamaran, so they get to show us. You know, right now we're studying a unit on material science. So the perfect time to bring in Aspen Power Catamaran because he brings in all these different materials that they're building their boats out of. One of the cool pieces of material, we've got fiberglass, you know, carbon fiber. I don't know if you guys ever heard of something called Kusa. So Kusa is a material that is taking the place of wood and the stringers of boats. So instead of a boat having a life expectancy of say 50 years with, you know, regular wood that can rot out, now boats, the life are being expanded to. Pretty cool material. So that's some of the things that the students are learning about right now in maritime trade. We also teach our total middle school students as well. So that's called Maritime Foundations. Different. We have a lot of fun experiments that the students are doing. Anybody ever made an Ublik class before? You know what Ublik is? Raise your hand. Okay. The material science. Show them the fun stuff about science, the world of science around us in maritime as well. We'd like to have fun in the class also. So one of the other things that we like to do, which is fun, is competition. Okay, in the class. So anybody know how long that a person has to get a survival suit on when their boat is going down in the water? How quick do you need to put that thing on? 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds. Okay, Dylan's pretty good at it. Do I have any volunteers in the audience that would like to race Dylan tonight? Maybe one of the board members?
That would be you.
Okay, just put it on. How about put it on?
Right?
Come on. Thank you.
We got a volunteer. Yes, there we go.
It all goes slow.
Sure, exactly.
I know, right?
There you go.
Oh,
That's it.
Watch how it's expecting it.
That's the actual time, 30 seconds.
Yeah, one arm first, move it over.
He's already taking off his shoes.
Take your shoes off. Yeah. He's trying to
I was
get
gonna
that.
say.
If your boat's going down, you're not gonna be thinking about taking your shoes off. You're gonna put this on as quickly as you can. Ready? What time? Ready? Set. Go, go. Lay down. Doing a great job. 7 seconds. 15 seconds. The boat is taking on water and the sharks are waiting for you.
Oh, there you go.
Go, go.
28, 29, that's 30.
So good.
It's, he has one. Unfortunately, they called him turtle because he didn't have goal.
Yeah.
But, thank you very much for doing it.
I know, like.
Abel,
That's kind of cool.
Dylan, nice job.
I've never seen that.
Super cool.
We do have some footage of them in the pool, getting into the survival suits and then getting into the life raft stuff. That's pretty cool that we can share if anyone hasn't seen it. If I could have the Toilet Bay Fire Academy, come on up. Which we just started this school year. It's kind of in its pilot process right now, but we have Instructor Johnson and a student, who's also a school board representative, and they will give you a little update about how it's going. I went over there last week, and like the vibe and the professionalism of what was going on in the classroom was just out of this park. So just well done.
Good afternoon, esteemed members of the school board, faculty, and guests. My name is Alyssa Johnson, your instructor for the Toilet Bay Fire Cadet Academy. I'm here to speak today about a unique and essential program at our school that is helping prepare students for real-life careers and making a tangible difference in our community. This program is our Toilet Bay Cadet Fire Program. It's a robust hands-on curriculum that equips students with the skills, certifications, and experience they need to succeed in the field of emergency services. Our program offers an exceptional opportunity for students to receive CPR certification, a life-saving skill that can be applied in a variety of emergency situations. In addition to CPR, our students also complete their Red Card certification for wildland firefighting. This certification is a nationally recognized credential, ensuring that our students are not only well prepared for wildfires, but are also able to respond to emergencies across the country, whether in forests, rural areas, or other environments that are affected by fire. But it doesn't stop there. We understand that to truly excel in a career, students need more than just technical skills. They need real-world experiences as well. That's why we integrate real-life interview practice into our curriculum. Through mock interviews, students learn how to present themselves professionally, answer difficult questions, and demonstrate the skills they've acquired. This is crucial in a field where personal conduct, leadership, and communication are just as important as technical proficiency. Our program is also aligned with the IFSTA Firefighter 1 curriculum, the gold standard in firefighter training. This curriculum provides students with in-depth knowledge and skills in firefighting techniques, equipment usage, fire prevention, and safety protocols. By completing the IFSTA Firefighter 1 curriculum, students gain valuable hands-on experience and a solid foundation in the fire service, which makes them highly competitive candidates when applying for fire departments or pursuing advanced education in the fire service. More about this can be found online or by emailing myself if you have any questions about any of the material we go over. We also believe in the importance of keeping the community informed about the incredible work that all of our students are doing. Through our active presence on social media, we regularly update the public on the progress, achievements, and activities of our firefighting students. Whether it's sharing their recent certifications, showcasing their skills in action, or highlighting special projects and field training, we make sure our community is aware of the hard work and dedication these students are putting into their training. This not only strengthens the connection between the school and the community, but also fosters support and recognition for our future firefighters. We ask for your continued support of this program as it provides immeasurable benefits to our students, our local fire departments, and the communities that we serve. Thank you for your time and for considering the long-term impact of investing in our students' future through this invaluable program. I would like to introduce you all to one of my cadets that I have here today. Her name is Ileana Romero. She has excelled this year in the cadet program. She is one individual who I believe represents this program very well as her students. She came into this program a little bit later than all of our other students, and she caught up super fast. Her interview with us, we actually have the students interview to get into our program. And her interview was amazing with us. We just held oral boards for them, those mock interviews that I talked about. And the board that I had interviewing the students said that if she walked into a fire department and interviewed, that she would be hired on the spot. So I'm very proud of her, and I think she's a great representation. So I'd like her to say a couple words about the program and her experiences.
Thank you so much. Like she said, I'm Ileana Romero. I'm a senior at Heritage High School, and I was introduced to this program. Actually, last year is when I first heard about it, because this was the first year last year that they had come up with it and started it. And then hearing about it this year, it sounded like something I really wanted to get into and just try something new for myself. My father was a volunteer firefighter as well, and both my parents are paramedics and EMTs. And so it was really important to me to just get into this program and be a part of it. And ever since I have, I feel I've excelled in so many ways, learning how to find my words and articulate what I want to say. Along with that, giving a professional manner. And on top of that, just learning my strive to protect and serve for our community. I feel like it is very empowering for me to know that at some point in my life, I'll be able to protect you guys even. And it's just an amazing feeling to learn all the things we're doing. So far, we have flown water out of our hose, and we have connected on and off of the fire engine, learning all around the hose and all the different parts. Along with that, we've done our notch chapter. We've talked a little bit about tactical ventilation, and we're literally just learning all the ins and outs of it. And I think it's amazing. All of the hands-on work that we get to do is awesome. Another cool aspect, we actually all have our own bunker gear. And so each and every single cadet has our own bunker gear, along with the amazing shed that they set up for us. It has all of our bunker gear set up, and along with that, a little propane heater just because it does get a little chilly out. And we tend to throw bunker gear as often as we can just to get practice in. And it's teaching me fast thinking, agility, and I just think it's an amazing program. And I'm so grateful to be here and talk to you guys about it. So thank you.
Thank you.
So as we start to close here, I'd like to bring up our team. Alicia and Michelle, Randy. And then also I think they skedaddled. I think they're a little bit nervous, but our ASL students, or Asher, Sarah, and Mackenzie, just want to acknowledge them and their instructor, Corey Parks, who just came to the district this year and is doing an outstanding job at Pilchuck. So just kudos to those students. And we're going to close up here, but did want to just a brief update, have some updates from. So Michelle is our work-based learning coordinator and our high school and beyond plan coordinator. And you just want to tell some of the cool things that students have done this year?
Hi, my name is Michelle Richardson. So work-based learning and work site learning are a couple of things that I get to do with our amazing students. So work-based learning, I get to tie in like field trips and career tours. So even just last week, Cedar Crest Middle School got to go to Mammoth Overland, which is literally trailers that are meant for off-roading and are designed in the same way that aerospace manufacturing is designed. They have a trailer for the end of the world even. So our students got to go around and see how they operate, and they build their own parts and they manufacture their own trailers, how they market those trailers. So it was a really cool experience to watch them kind of learn the ins and outs of that, but also they were able to, they had some hands-on activities for them to do. The engineer gave them a design and they had to manufacture based on some blueprints this design. So it was amazing to see our middle schoolers engaged in something that's a small business that they could very well be inspired by and go try and get a job for. The other part of my work-based learning is the ability to give students graduation credit for having jobs. So we want our students to be able to take what they're learning in the classroom into job sites, and also recognizing that those skills should be able to award graduation credit for as well. So I work with students. We have just about as many as we had last year, and working really hard for this upcoming year to try and get more students. We have tons of students who work, so being able to award them graduation credit for their hard work in school and maintaining those jobs as well. So that is a little bit on my end. I'm gonna bring up Alicia.
Alicia is one of our two career counselors in the district. And just want to give, Andrew's not the other career counselor, Andrew Santos couldn't make it tonight, but.
Hello, I'm Alicia Cordulo. I am one of two career and college readiness counselors for the district, and I'm housed at Marysville Getchell High School. I always am honored to come and talk about what we do. I feel like I have a very unique position and a very rewarding position. So I serve all of the students at Marysville Getchell High School, grades 9 through 12. And my job is a variety of many different things. But a huge part of that is really just trying to find opportunities to help our students become aware of what is available to them while they are in high school and afterwards, and to try to remove any barriers that they may have in accessing whatever their plans are for post-secondary education, training, or career experience. So, you know, I don't have the quantitative data to show you this, but I can tell you that the qualitative data of my work with our students and their families is that many of our students here in the Marysville community are first generation. And I say first generation for every field and every pathway that they're going into. Many of the students that I'm working with, this is the first time someone in their family has sought out community and technical college. It's the first time they're looking at a university, an apprenticeship, joining the military, heading straight into the workforce, whatever that may look like. That is a huge thing for our families. So it can also be a scary and overwhelming process. And a big part of that for me is to just really try to help alleviate that. So I love meeting with students. I love meeting with their parents, their guardians, their loved ones, whoever it is that's supporting them, to really just help them through that process. Another huge part of what we do is financial aid, right? To be able to access these opportunities, it's our job to try to help you find the resources to be able to pay for them. So whether that's scholarships, grants, loans, any of that stuff, that is something Andrew and I work very hard at, is ensuring that our seniors are aware of the opportunities available to them with our various financial aid applications and the scholarships that we can help them with. I'd love to just share, I had two seniors I worked with last year Both, I mean, nearly valedictorians, 3.98 students, amazing, wonderful students who were definitely college bound, but the idea of going to college was just very fearful, especially for their families, first generation students. To be able to convince them, just give it a shot, apply to university. Both of them are attending universities in Washington State right now, different schools on full ride scholarships. And they would have never done that had they not taken an opportunity. Otherwise, they were just, they were thinking of getting a job and doing something else. And now they're both successful and still in touch with me. And I'll be helping them fill out their FAFSA here again for next year here real soon over Zoom. And it's a fun thing that we get to do. So thank you for having us here. Thank you for continually supporting career and college readiness and CTE. It's important and it makes a difference.
That concludes the first half of our. Thank you so much for your support. Our department will continue to offer relevant programs for our students, and we'll strive to improve them. And we just want to do our district and our community good. And we just thank you for the time. I know we have a lot. We could keep going, but thank you. Any questions or thoughts?
Any questions? Yep, that was fantastic. That was a fantastic presentation. Thank you so much. I think Dr. Rumbaugh, you are up next for the school consolidation update.
All right, thank you. That was a fantastic presentation to follow.
Same.
I will give us a second while we get this loaded. Yep, that's it. The same one. Yep, same one. All right. Grounding our presentation this evening in our promise, as we mentioned during the study session, we are experiencing rapidly changing work in our elementary and middle schools as we move towards consolidating our schools. So I'm grateful for the work that staff have done thus far, in particular our school administrators. So what you're going to see in the next few minutes really represents broad collaboration across not only district staff, but building as well. And so I'm grateful for all of them. You also are going to continue to see consistent updates in specific areas. So you will see a fiscal update each time we're together. You'll see HR and staffing updates and so forth. So you'll be able to kind of see the work evolve over time. So as we have mentioned before, there is budget capacity to the tune of $350,000 for one-time costs associated with the consolidation of our schools, specifically the movement of Liberty to Marysville Middle School. And you can see some of the items there. If we go to the next slide, you can see a breakdown. I know you've seen this before. It's in table format, so it's a little bit cleaner this time around. So you can kind of see where we expect those expenses to be. And we don't have to go back a slide, but I just wanted to note that we have budget capacity for staffing costs associated with moving, and most of those are outlined in our CBAs. And so we look forward to honoring those as well. All right, so looking at facilities, there has been a request from our staff to have a little more detail on what is happening both on the human resources side as we think about staffing and the maintenance and operations side when we think about the physical work associated with moving materials from one site to another. So that is a document that's going out to staff on Friday that identifies for them what is happening in the human resources and staffing side each week of the school year, and similarly on the maintenance and operations side. So one example on the staff or the HR side is that we will begin working with our staff to help identify assignments for where they will be next school year. That will happen sometime after March 1st and hopefully get finished in partnership with our labor groups by the end of April. And then we will be delivering boxes and tape out to buildings and staff that need those items before spring break. So it helps our staff to have a schedule like that to know what is coming their way. And then We are continuing to work on calendaring out the work ahead over the summer. And then, as we talked about a little bit earlier, there was a question from community about making sure that Liberty Elementary looked nice as it stood vacant, and a commitment to upkeep that property is something that we're committed to. Staffing and human resources. So this is an update that you'll get regularly as well. So this will be a topic that we will revisit. The transfer window for our certificated staff is open, and that will close on March 1st. That's kind of why we anticipate making staffing changes and notifications after that first date. And that's done in partnership with our bargaining unit. So thank you to Human Resources that is in that work. And you can see through all of our labor groups there as well. So that is ongoing. And then certainly anytime we need to engage our labor partners with an MOU, we always do that. All right, communication. So lots of feedback and requests for consistent and timely communication about what is happening to what schools and on what timeline. So as you can see here, we have some pretty consistent routines. The hope here is that we can convey a sense of confidence in our community and our staff around the process of consolidating, which is challenging work. So our design team meets every single day. We meet in the morning, and we have created routines around weekly communication to our administrators, to our staff, and to our families. And it's really been a celebration to hear from our staff and families their appreciation for that weekly Friday email. And there's even been some requests for that to perhaps continue after school consolidations are complete. They felt like that was a useful routine and something that they enjoyed. Our communications staff have done a great job continually updating the website. So anytime we have a new artifact that comes out, that goes up on the website. And our school administrators are working hard to sort of push parent questions and traffic to the website as the place where the most recent and most accurate information is held. And some of the things that are up there are roadmaps, things the board has seen previously, and we will continue to add information there as well. Collaboration. Mentioned early on that our hope and expectation for ourselves in this process was that this would be a do with and do alongside as much as possible. And I know that there are a lot of moving parts, and not every detail has yet been attended to, and we're in the process of doing that. But I wanted to demonstrate for the board and the community just a couple of examples of our efforts to be collaborative. So you can see that we're meeting weekly with our building administrators, our elementary, middle, and high school administrators, as they're helping us design in the instructional model for next year, technical needs. They're helping inform communication and information sharing. They're also helping us set the guardrails for what instruction will look like at grades 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 next year. And that work, will then sort of inform the work we do with labor partners and staffing. So just trying to continue to commit to collaborating along the way. So I want to spend just a couple of minutes talking about updates in elementary, specifically grades 5, 6, and secondary grades 7 and 8. So we have worked with our school administrators over the last 3.5 weeks or so to develop an agreement that we're calling a tight, loose agreement, so that the schools are able to begin designing what instruction will look like in the coming school year. So there is an agreement among all 10 of our elementary schools that they will engage their 5th and or 6th grade teams in some type of block scheduling for the coming school year. And what that typically looks like is you take the teachers, the adults in the 5th or 6th grade band, and they departmentalize and they specialize in one content area and sort of rotate around. So it helps students think of what does it look like, sound like, and feel like when we get to the middle school level and you're exposed to different teachers. So that is the tight. We are asking and expecting that our school administrators are going to be working on that. And again, they participated in the design of that agreement. The loose is the weeds. So that is the how are we going to develop the programming? What is it going to look like? What's the schedules that need to be in place? What are the routines and the structures? And so school administrators will do that with their school teams, and they began calendaring that work out yesterday and today. So that's exciting. And then similarly in the middle school, we took that same approach, the tight, loose approach. So the tight agreements were developed again with our middle school administrators. We had our high school administrators present as well, and that was very helpful as we think about our 7-12 band. And the agreement among our middle schools was to continue to prioritize core instruction. So with a reconfiguration, it's an opportunity to take a fresh look at how are we prioritizing reading, writing, and mathematics across all classrooms in our 7-8 grade band. And an additional layer is improving our progress monitoring of student performance and how we respond to student need in our classrooms. And then the last piece, and this is where the most collaboration happened between the middle and the high school, was what explicit instruction and learning experiences do 7th graders and 8th graders need in a very overt and explicit way to prepare them for success in high school. And our high school principals were able to help inform what some of those things were. And then the loose, again, just like elementary, our elementary or secondary administrators will work with staff to develop the routines and the structures for delivering on the tight. So the last piece here is just a reminder, as you know, we are a pre-K-12 system, and we have the opportunity to take a deep look at 5th and 6th grade, and again, 7th and 8th grade. But knowing that we bookend with pre-K4 and 9-12, what is it that we want to do as an organization to be sure that we have balanced support and balanced planning and rigorous experiences for kids all the way across the continuum P12, and no one gets sort of left behind as we are reconfiguring in those 2 middle boxes. So that is your update. Are there any questions that I can answer for you?
I was going to say, I think we had a pretty good conversation during the work study. I do think it might be helpful if we talk a little bit about plans for legacy again, just because folks may not have been here earlier.
Right. Obviously, at the direction of the board, Legacy will be moved, and the 2 locations being considered are Totem Middle School and Marysville Getchell High School. Next week, I hope to have a group of staff from the Legacy that will visit both those sites and get some idea of from them how that either site might be the best solution for their children.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr.
Thank
Rumbach.
you. Have a good evening.
Okay, we're moving on to cabinet updates. And I will let you guys, do you want to start with Bonnie? Start?
Sure, and I'm going to present on behalf of my partner over here, Miss Lori Knudsen, and myself. We've gotten a chance to do some collaboration together, so I'm excited to talk to you about that. So the Teaching and Learning Department, we've had the opportunity to bring a group of school and district leaders together to attend the first of a 4-day training that we're doing with the ESD called Leading for Equitable Student Outcomes. So I'll talk a little bit about what we're learning at each of those sessions and then let you know who's in the group with us. So our first day together, we were really looking at a systems approach to equity, change, leadership, using the MTSS model, which is the multi-tiered student or systems of support. That's a model that is that OSPI is now having schools put their work into. So that was really an overview of how to make systems change. We'll be going back in just a few weeks to day 2, which is inclusion, the foundation for success. Day 3 is strictly around inclusive instructional practices, supporting language literacy and executive functioning for our students. And then day 4 is building a coherent plan for success so that we can memorialize and manualize all the things that we're learning. So we're excited to be doing that work. And I want to just say that our team members are from the administration, we have Alex Trepanier, Travis Hammond, Jeff Ingram, Russ Wilsterman, Ayana Lee, and Matt Arnold. They are all over the district. We have 3 secondary and 3 elementary. Our directors, Melissa Van Zanten, Nia Berry, and Sandra Magical, and then Lori and myself. So excited about the work, excited to be on that wagon of learning with a great team.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet. That's for both of us.
Good evening. First, I would like to say, as Dr. Rumba has informed you, HR has been very busy and in a lot of meetings. But I think one thing that I'd like to do is formally welcome and recognize a new labor partner in terms of designation. Our technical and professional staff have been recognized as and certified as a collective bargaining unit under WEA. And so we will begin work with them to develop everything that goes with creating a new bargaining unit. And I think they work very hard, and we want to work collaboratively to do what is best for our students and our staff. The staffing process is underway in terms of building staffing sheets. We hope to have those meetings starting the second week in March. We have reports that will be going out early, such as our seniority list. So we are trying to support the consolidation efforts and comply with our bargaining. We are actively participating in several job fairs and having some success in recruiting, particularly for next fall. And we will continue to work on updating our systems and eliminating duplicative work.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Did I miss anybody over? I don't know that I did, so I'm probably moving on to upcoming events with Jody Runyon.
So again, Diego, if you can make that just a little bit bigger for our staff and audience, that would be great. So it's hard to believe we are midway through February, just a little beyond. It's gone by so fast. I want to point out a few things we've already heard about tonight, Hoops for Hope. And that is the basketball game that is between students and staff. And then the special guest that will be there, as Amy explained tonight, with those proceeds going to benefit special needs. And I haven't been able to find out, Bonnie, do you know where the proceeds are going to this year? To what group at all? It's okay if you don't know. I'm seeking an answer. Okay, that's okay. No problem. It's always just good to know because it's such a great cause. I just want to point out also a budget advisory committee meeting coming up February 25th. That's our second committee meeting. We're looking forward to that. And the Tulalip Positive Youth Development and our MSD Indian Education is holding a senior night on February 26th. This is really important for our Native American youth because it provides them an opportunity to fill out some necessary forms to get assistance with funding. They get to fill out some forms to tell a little bit about themselves so that the tribes can put together the poster. And it's a lot of information gathering. So it's really important for seniors, Native American seniors, not just Tulalip tribal members to attend that event. Also opportunities for getting some support with paying for graduation and everything that goes along with it. The PTSA Reflection Celebration is always great. That's also February 26th. That will be at Legacy High School. And then we've got a concert in there. Getchell's hosting the Inner High coming up on February 27th. MPHS is holding an open house. And I'm going to look to Bonnie again, February 27th. That's one of our first high school open houses. And I believe that is for incoming ninth graders. Is that correct? Okay, I'm putting her on the spot. That's not fair. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, so it's hard to believe that those things are coming because when I start to hear about school open houses and opportunities for incoming students, it's like spring is here, but I still feel like it's winter, but that's just me. And then finally, I want to point out the You Are Not Alone event is Saturday, March 1st. This event will be at the Rose Hill Community Center in Edmonds, and it's a pretty amazing event. It is a focus around mental health and well-being. It's open to everyone. Also a focus on suicide intervention and prevention. And next year, that event will be held in North County. So the Marysville School District and the Marysville Tulalip Uniting Stories Community Coalition will have an opportunity to partner with that event. So if you have an opportunity, stop by. It's free. It's happening again on March 1st, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Rose Hill Community Center. So that is my report, unless there are any questions.
It's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hard to believe we're already to high school open house time. So before we move on to hearing the business of visitors, I just want to this is in the better late than never category. Note the absences of Director Thomas and Director Krebs. They're both excused. I think Director Thomas may be traveling and Director Krebs had family responsibilities this evening. And it looks like we have a few folks that have signed up this evening. And just as a reminder, each individual has 3 minutes. A maximum of 2 individuals may combine their time for a 6-minute maximum with 1 spokesperson for the group. And at this time, we'll move forward. I think we're starting with Deanna Sheldon. Okay.
Okay, but first off, can I say, been here for 36 years. Have a fun, so. In the past, I've been able to participate here. So it's a great organization, come by $10 a teacher. Okay, I'll start my 6 minutes. Okay, so this is regarding legacy.
Can we adjust the clock?
Oh,
The clock real quick for her 6 minutes. There we go. Thank
Okay.
you.
As a parent, we have advocated for our daughter since she was in developmental preschool. All we have ever wanted for her is to find a place where she belongs. We've advocated year after year for inclusion, wanting her to share the same experiences her same age peers. The path she's been on currently has not been an easy one. Of course, she's overcome so many challenges, both with peers and those of adults, who have taken advantage of her for not being able to advocate for herself. With that being said, each school year, we're always hoping and praying for the best for our daughter to be seen, for those to treat her with the kindness and respect that she deserves. For years, there's always been misconceptions of her ability to learn, communicate, and people often underestimate her because of my daughter's ability to do things because of her autism and apraxia. As a family, I could tell you, we've never felt a strong connection to any of the schools she's ever been to. We've always felt like we've been outsiders. But this year has changed. We're very confident about sending our daughter to school each day, knowing that those who are teaching her will be kind, respectful, and understanding. Last year, I can tell you this is true. We went to all the high schools. We did our due diligence. We talked to the administrations, the staff to figure out what would be the best placement for our daughter. And if you know her, we just love her to death and we want the best for her. And you know what? We came across Legacy. It was honestly the best fit for her. It's the calm environment, the feeling of being a part of a small community. We knew that she was going to succeed. But to our surprise, we didn't expect she was going to adapt to this new environment so quickly. And for those who know her, they can see a drastic change in her personality. She's starting to come out of her shell. She's going on stage to sing and dance in our community events. I don't know if people came to our Christmas party. She was singing and dancing. It was so much fun. She's also playing in the unified sports. And like I said, her true personality is starting to show. And as a parent, I've waited 14 years to watch my daughter overcome something so great. And it just makes me so happy. She also has a desire to be more independent. She's learning more than she would in a traditional high school. I strongly believe that it's the block schedule. It helps ease so much of her anxiety. The smaller classrooms are truly making a difference. And I can tell you last year, she was a ball of nerves. And this year she's not. As you can tell, these past few months, it's very stressful because the relocation legacy is unknown. And you can imagine as a parent, all this forward progress we're seeing in our daughter could come to a halt. Especially if the relocation is into a larger campus where it's more to navigate, and also the identity of Legacy is now forced to be within a school. She did not know anything about Legacy, but this summer she was so proud to be a Legacy Lemur. She didn't know what that meant, but it's just great. I fully understand what position you guys are in. I know that you guys need to make the drastic cuts by the end of the school year, but each week, I may not be present, but I'm listening. And I hear so many people coming up here talking week after week of what it means to them for Legacy. Each student advocating for that, parents advocating, teachers and staff. So I don't know if it could be possible. I keep praying every night, hoping that it will come true. If hoping to keep Legacy at this current location for one more year, or until it's actually time to move both Legacy and 10th Street. We know that might be coming in the future, but it would be ideal situation. Ultimately, if you relocate Legacy, like many have said, be prepared for the drop in enrollment, and families like mine will be forced to look elsewhere within the district or even out of the district, because this is such a unique learning environment where students are thriving. They're setting themselves for post-high school. There's so much focus on maintaining and growing such programs as High Cap, Co-op, 10th Street, and it's easy for everyone to kick the can down the street and not forgetting where about Legacy is. Like I said, the past few months, especially the past week, the voices of the students, teachers, parents, and like myself are hopefully we're being listened to, because ultimately every student deserves the best possible learning environment. And I know you guys talked about there's at the end of the month of open houses. What parent is going to feel comfortable of looking into Legacy if there's no location? Thank you.
Hey, Mark Doherty. Okay. Yep.
Good evening. My name is Amy Paquette. I am a parent of a soon-to-be graduating senior at Legacy High School, and I appreciate coming here tonight to be able to express some of the concerns I have going forward with the closure of, or at least the moving of Legacy. You know, it's no secret to this community that Pilchuck and Getchell are really considered the real high schools in Marysville. Their presence in our community is legitimized by their size, their history, and their notoriety. I also look to Heritage. Heritage has its own stakeholders, its own pathway. And so when I talk tonight, I'm going to be talking about the three schools I mentioned, Legacy, Getchell, and Pilchuck. When we look at the Legacy and Legacy High School, we want to realize that its existence is really because of the community that is there, because of the parents, because of the students, and because of the staff. In addition, The word alternative, which is what Legacy has been branded as, has a bad rap when it comes to education. It is seen as less than and a throwaway. And I am confirmed in that tonight as I continue to look through the information provided by the school board through its communications that Legacy's future has no future at this point. We need to know where Legacy is going to go, and if it's going to go to a Getchell or if it's going to go to Totem. Why those two options? A middle school where high schoolers are going to go makes no sense to me. A large school with over 1,100 students for a school that only has 144 makes no sense to me. We've been part of this community since the time that my daughter started at the co-op. I understand what it means to be a school within a school. I know how they can thrive there, but I also know what they have stand to lose. We can look at what we're going to lose in this community by just looking at the OSPI's report cards. Looking at Marysville, Pilchuck, Getchell, and Legacy, we can see that Legacy's assessments are higher in ELA, math, and science, both on the foundational levels and in consistent grade levels, higher than Getchell and Pilchuck. And in fact, 15% higher in assessments than the other two schools in science. We talk about how critical science is into the future of this global economy. And here we are at Legacy with our students thriving in that. This is what we have to stand to lose. There's one report card that comes out of our high schools. Are our children able to thrive in the world to come? And we look to those grades as the report card. We are going to lose that if we are not careful. Yes, the students will continue to go wherever they're going to go. Yes, Marysville, Pilchuck, and Getchell will continue to have all the wonderful programs and everything we heard about tonight. But those students who thrive at Legacy right now will no longer thrive. They, in fact, will probably melt away, just like my daughter. When she started at Getchell, we were very excited. We lived up on the hill. We knew that Getchell was the high school she was going to go to. We walked in there the first day, and she already started having anxiety. We spent time talking to the counselors, talking to the principal, trying to figure out ways that we can make it work for her. And you know what we were told? We were told, kids got to grow up. They got to figure out how to live in their own way. And what that message was to us was, we can't figure this out. We're too big. Yeah, we have all these great things, but your kid's going to have to figure out her own way. And so we figured out our own way. We pulled her out of school, and I became a homeschool teacher. And thank God my husband is a teacher because he knew what to do, because I had no idea. We were willing to take my daughter and put her in a different situation rather than continue to force her to experience the anxiety and the fear that she was having at such a large campus. So this is something, and you're going to see her speak tonight. You're going to see this remarkable woman she has become, who has thrived and become a leader in her community, who has taken the time to really embrace everything that Legacy has to offer. And she will be the demonstration of what Legacy can be to all these students. Now, I know what the arguments are. The average cost per students are higher at Legacy. And I know that moving campuses and things like that may go ahead and offset those. However, there is something that is working there that doesn't work at other schools. And again, we can look to the report card. This isn't because of the athletics department, because there really isn't one. It isn't because we live in an affluent area. In fact, Legacy High School has a higher level of lower income than all those three schools. Therefore, instead of shuttering the campus and moving students back to the very schools that they escaped from, maybe we should explore what is happening at Legacy. What are they doing right? We should talk more about their academic successes in order to legitimize them as a place in our educational ecosystem. We can advertise Legacy more often to the students, because if we lose the school and these students, and they lose their campus, then we stand to lose the whole plot of why we're doing this in the first place. Thank you.
Next, we have Anne Gallenberg. Okay.
Hello, parents, staff, board members, and fellow students. I'm Maximilian J. Christopherson, an 11th grader at Legacy High School. I've been at this school since my 10th grade year, attending Getchell my freshman year. Today, I want to speak about the different things, I experienced between Getchell and Legacy High School. One of my favorite things about Legacy is the small campus. Everything is close together, making it easier to get to class in a timely manner while still communicating with friends along the way. This also allows easy access to the gender-neutral restroom. As a transgender student, I prefer to use this restroom for the comfort of myself and others. During my year at Getchell, I missed a lot of class time making my way to the bathroom. Occasionally, I missed extra class time waiting for the nurse to return. As the only unisex bathroom on Getchell campus is in the nurse's office. There is an inconvenient distance between most of the classrooms and the nurse's office, as the building housing the nurse's office is farthest away from the main buildings. If Legacy were to be moved into Getchell campus, I would have to walk all the way to the nurse's office just to use the restroom. This would also have me bump into kids from Getchell. The district says we will be separated from them, but in all honesty, I have absolutely zero faith in this plan. Getchell High School currently is near its maximum capacity. Adding Legacy to the mix will make the already crowded campus intolerable for many of Legacy's students. Additionally, this will make more of a lineup for the only unisex bathroom, as well as increase the chances of the nurse having to step out of the office. Between walking to and from the nurse's office, waiting on other kids, plus the nurse in the event they have to step away, this would take up far too much class time just to use the restroom. The only solution I see in this scenario is adding a unisex restroom to the floor of the building that we would hypothetically be put on. But realistically, the district doesn't have the funds nor the will to do such a thing. At Legacy campus, we have 2 unisex bathrooms. These bathrooms are located in our school building, and I'm so sorry. One of these restrooms is located in our school building, and the other is in the nurse's office we share with Heritage High School. Thanks to this, I always have an accessible bathroom to use, both being close by and making my trips take up so much less class time. With all this said, I don't have anything against Getchell High School, but I will not be going back. Any claims of keeping the schools separate are not enough to comfort me or many of my fellow students and classmates. I know a handful of kids who will leave the district via transfers, other programs, or dropping out entirely. Due to the amount of CTE classes Legacy offers, I've already completed my graduation path as a junior in high school. This will make it so I can complete what I have left. I'm so sorry. This will make it so I can complete my few classes left in an out-of-district program, which is my personal plan if Legacy is forced into the Getchell campus. With all this being said, I believe the school district is shutting down our campus with no real information on our school and who we are. They have shown countless times they are clueless on our program and class schedules. I want to ask the board to do their research before announcing their final decision. Please come visit Legacy High School. Interview me and other students about the many programs we have in our experiences. Keep an open mind, even if your previous bias happens to collide with the idea of keeping our campus as it is. Thank you for your time.
Courtney Shipley. Okay, and then Adina Paquette, I think you're our last one.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adina Paquette, and I'm a senior at Legacy High School. I'm here to share my personal experience as a student over the past 3 years and why I firmly believe that Legacy should remain in its current building. When I first arrived at Legacy as a sophomore, I was a student who had dropped out of Getchell during freshman year. I was behind on credits, battling anxiety, and uncertain whether I would ever return to public school. But then I found Legacy. It was not just a place that helped me catch up on credits and graduate, it became another home. Legacy gave me things no other school has, a smaller, tight-knit community where I was seen as an individual, not just another face in a crowded classroom. Because of this, many students come to Legacy for a variety of reasons. As the education system continues to evolve, it's clear that the one-size-fits-all model doesn't work for everyone. Not every student can thrive in a large classroom without personalized attention or has the ability to travel a large campus. If legacy is taken from us, these students will lose their opportunity to learn, grow, and excel in an environment that meets our needs. Relocating legacy to a larger campus like Getchell or Totem would not only undo everything we've built here, but also reinforce the harmful narrative that we are somehow less than other high schools. You put us on campuses where we have been bullied and forced us to share space with students who have made us feel invisible. Sadly, many of us feel mistreated and unheard by the rest of the district. Students from other schools often harass us, calling Legacy a garbage school or claiming it's not a real high school. We are excluded from district-wide events, which makes us feel like we don't belong. This judgment is painful, especially in light of the uncertainty we faced in recent months about whether we'd be allowed to stay at our campus or not. Our community at Legacy does not ask for much. We don't need a football team or a massive campus. We need what we have, a school that understands and supports us. That's enough. Legacy hosted a student panel in November and invited board member Craig Herron. 8 students, including myself, shared our responses about why Legacy matters so much to us. Then we opened the mic up for the rest of the students to share whatever they wanted. Seeing so many students bravely speak up in front of the entire school was amazing and inspiring. Sharing how Legacy has impacted their lives and why they care so deeply about our school's future. Amid all the chaos in the world, pandemics, war, politics, these students have found peace and purpose at Legacy. Shouldn't that be enough to justify keeping the school open for future students? I understand the financial challenges our district faces, but as a senior about to graduate, I'm responsible for standing up and protecting the school that has protected me. Please let Legacy continue to grow and thrive where we planted our roots. Don't take that away from us. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are moving on to approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the work study and regular session minutes of February 3rd, 2025 as presented.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda. Can I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Is there any discussion?
Nothing?
Does anyone want to read gifts to the district? That'd be great.
Yeah, want to take it? Want me to do that?
I'll do it. Okay. Okay, so gifts to the district totaling $1,890 this evening. We have the Kellogg Marsh PTA. Oh, need to get new glasses. For should have asked somebody else to do this. Entry for 3rd grade classes to go to the Imagine Children's Museum for $935. Also from Kellogg Marsh PTA. Again, for the Imagine Children's Museum for $660. And then Diane Cruikshank to Sunnyside Elementary donated hand-painted Kalahari lion picture valued at $295. I want to thank our donors very much. Is there any other discussion around our consent items?
No, I've got nothing.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then moving on to board action, we have sole source Lexia letters.
Lori
Great.
Knutson has jumped into the fray here, and she's presenting in place of Brandon Mueller, who is sick at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent, Board, and Communities. All right, thank you, Jody. Good evening, Superintendent, Board, and Community. I am here to talk to you about educational sole source for Lexia Letters, which stands for Language Essential for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. And the PD and materials for 10th Street. And it has on here district-wide professional learning services. And I just want to let you know that's mainly for elementary. So last June, we did a phase 1 training that covered foundations of reading, phonological awareness, phonics, and fluency. And that was a 4-day training. This June, we are proposing we do a second phase training that would cover vocabulary, comprehensive, the planning for teachers of science of reading lessons, and the writing phase as well with science of reading. We're also asking for you to approve this for 10th Street. And these materials cover interventions as 10th Street is a tier 2 school. And then with Schultes Elementary, they have decided to use their LAP funds to have Letters and Lexia come in and help with training that will be coaching around data teams and more training for teachers within Schultes. There we go. So I'm asking you to approve the purchase of Lexia Letters as a sole source provider for Lexia Power Up Reading for 10th Street. Unlimited license with School Success Partnership beginning February 2025. And Lexia Power Up Literacy Unlimited license with School Success Partnership beginning 2025. In addition, we recommend the approval of Lexia as a sole source provider for professional learning. On here it says district, but it's mainly elementary schools. And then Schultes Elementary School that is using LAP funding will have more training with Letters and Lexia.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Move to approve purchase of Lexia Letters as the sole source provider.
Second.
Any discussion?
Well, I guess I'm curious about the purchase for just 10th Street.
So I've asked Bonnie to partner with me, assuming this question is good.
We're very collaborative today. So 10th Street is using their LAP funds and buying licenses for students to be able to have some instructional resources that can meet their individual needs. Their particular licenses that they're buying go through from February to the end of this year and all of next year. So it's to support those systems there.
Thank you, Bonnie.
So just as a follow-on, I'm assuming if Cedar Crest or Totem wanted to use their lap funds for that purpose, they could do the same thing.
I would imagine if we are recognizing them as a sole source, but I don't know if I'll have to
Okay.
bring it to you again. If someone else did decide, we'll just make sure we vet that and do the correct thing at the time.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, back in October, we approved, I think, about $400,000 for Lexia Letters. None of this training none of this would be included in that first amount. I mean, that's additional to that.
Yes, it
It's
is
not-
additional. And Dr. Burgess, you'll have to help me with this. That $400,000 also covered the previous costs of last June.
Right, those were lap dollars that were spent, and if we didn't spend those dollars on that, those would have been turned back to the state, and we would have lost that amount of money in this coming allocation of this school year as well. It'd have been about $1 million hit to our district if we didn't do that.
So has there been any training involved with that apportionment?
Yes, so we have continued to train administrators, teachers, and we also, and that's the letters portion. The Lexia portion is the computer program that our students are using with our teachers. So we get really good data around where we are with literacy for the Lexia program. And I think that was the majority of the cost of that 7,000.
And so Core 5 and Power Up are also part of the Lexia letters. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot to this. Companies, they really
Yeah.
do build out really robust systems. So the letters training is universal. I'm going to use the word tier 1, but it is instructional techniques and strategies in order to be able to teach the science of reading. So every kid in elementary is receiving some benefit from the letters. That's the 400,000. What we're looking at here with the Lexia, the Power Ups, and those other things, they're very specifically programs embedded that align with that practice, but are meant for students who have who might have individual needs or reasons to accelerate their learning or to catch up or advance themselves. So it's leveled opportunities. Is that helpful?
Yeah, yeah, it is. What do you have any idea on what percentage of teachers are accessing this program? Is it, I mean, is it required for every teacher at the grade level through, or was it more of a, oh, I'll use this if it's available to me if I want to use it? So that's my question.
Yes.
We have all teachers in elementary using letters, the science of reading. We have dedicated our school improvement time throughout the whole year where principals continue the PD with their teachers around letters and Lexia. Our data teams are around the Lexia data that we receive from that platform. And we continue the grade level PD with Lexia with our teachers throughout the whole year.
And you said this would be for the remainder of this year and then next year as well.
Yes.
Okay. Do you anticipate any additional Lexia costs for next year?
Not at this time. Again, I need to double check with Brandon in regards to this whole presentation itself. We found out today he was not feeling well, so as far as I know, we are paid for the whole next year as well. So the Lexia approval, part of that $400,000 was for 2 full years.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The next item is the closure of Liberty Elementary School. And at our regular session on January 22nd, the board took action on a school consolidation and closure proposal, which included closing Liberty Elementary School. This action will adjust school size and configuration to address declining enrollment over the past 15 years. And it meets the district's targeted savings of $2 million for the 2025, 2026 school year and beyond. And as required by RCW 28A.335.020 and in accordance with the district policy 6883 closure of facilities, the board held a public hearing at the school last week, February 10th, 2025. And I think this motion just makes that action formalized.
This is your final step in the process, yes.
Okay. So do I have a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the closing of the Liberty Elementary School building and facilities in accordance with RCW 28A.335.020.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
No, this seems to be one that people tend to be in agreement on. You know, we've had an opportunity at Liberty to speak to people and very little negative feedback, actually no negative feedback on the closure of the facility. So.
No, exactly. There was remarkably little feedback. Anyway, anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And moving on to informational items, we have new course proposals for the 2025, 2026 school year presented by Melissa Van Zanten.
Hello.
I bet you thought you were done with this last week. I did. It looks like we forgot a course. The course that you heard about earlier tonight. Of course, it's CTE course, and this is CTE month. I just want to make sure that we say that because we might have forgot since Ryan left. And the Tulalip Bay Fire Academy Cadet Program, we were only piloting it for this year. So between Ryan and I, we made the mistake of not putting this on the course proposals for last month when I came up. So that is why I'm here this time, is to ask for your, this is information for you to look at. And then I'll come back in 2 weeks to ask for you to approve this to be a course that we would continue for the future. And I've heard nothing but great things about it. So it's pretty darn exciting. And you look pretty happy. So if you have questions, I'm happy to try and answer, but I think we have an expert in the room that could answer probably better than me.
Well, my question would be, how is it going to be funded?
Okay, great question. And that I do have the answer to. I spoke with Brian about that, and he said that there are grants that he will be obtaining to pay the portion that we would be paying from the district. So it would be grant funded through CTE.
Because I know that Tulalip paid for it this year.
Yes.
Make sure.
And he is budgeting for it moving forward and through grants.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. It's great that our students have the opportunity to take advantage of this. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, follow-up items. We have a work study and board meeting March 3rd, 2025. And we'll move on to superintendent and board comments. Before we do, I want to just recognize our student board representatives and note that usually at the end of the meeting, you guys get an opportunity to have a few things to say. I won't put you on the spot necessarily tonight if you want to, but if you do, we'll definitely call on you. So just a heads up, but superintendent comments.
Well, I know you're prepared, so we're looking forward to hearing your voice.
Okay.
You just attended some of the most difficult decisions that a board ever has to make, the closure of a school, and thank you for getting involved. This is really commendable. I want to share a couple things with you right now. We're just wrapping up winter sports season, and I know there's just a million things going on right now, but I want to bring to your attention the Heritage High School basketball team. One loss on the year. They square off in the playoffs against it's a very serious rivalry with Lummi Island. And that happened to be the one loss that our teams had this year. So it's an exciting time, and it's really been a rallying cry for our entire Tulalip community. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about this exceptional season that Marysville-Pilchuck wrestlers have had. Coach of the year, the district champions, 15 kids going to state. And of course, we have a number of children going to state and other sports, swimming, and it's just an exciting time as we conclude our winter seasons. But there's a lot to celebrate. And as superintendent, I certainly have enjoyed getting a chance to see some of this year. So that's my spiel today.
Thank you. Start with Director Harris.
Great. Yeah, I'll keep it short tonight. It was great to see unified basketball here. Again, the Hoops for Hope, if you haven't been to that, I know there's lots and lots of stuff going on tomorrow night, but that's where I plan on being. Again, good luck to all our athletes competing at state. Good luck to them. I'm glad to have Gabriel and Ileana with us. Welcome. Look forward to learning from you and working with you this year. Also appreciate the CTE presentation. I know that having one neighbor who's a fire chief and another one who's my other neighbor being a tugboat captain, that there are needs for those sorts of careers out there. So I'm glad that we're taking advantage of that. One thing I want to share, it kind of fits in with, every week I get a little on Thursday, a little email from a man named James Clear, came up with a book called Atomic Habits. And his whole idea is thinking that you don't make huge change, you just make incremental change, trying to get the idea of getting better 1% every day. If you could just get better by 1%, 1%, 1%, that you're going to be, it's a lot easier to be successful. And this week when I looked, or last week when I looked, his quote kind of fits with us. He says, whether a decision is good or bad can change on how you act after the choice is made. You can't learn all the lessons beforehand. In many cases, what you wish you knew ahead of time can only be learned after the decision's made. So there's nothing left but to pay attention and commit to making the most of each opportunity. There is no perfect decision. So I think that kind of fits real appropriately for what we're dealing with this last month or so. So I'll leave it at that.
Director Davis.
Good evening, everybody. I guess I want to say thank you for everybody sticking it out with us. I've had a short week, but man, it feels like it's been a very long day today. So thank you for sticking it out with us. And it's not over after this. We have a executive session. I want to say thank you to the work that's being done to create an approach for these changes. I think we've heard a little bit of feedback today that there's more work to be done with outside of Liberty and MMS that our community is telling us that we need to be a little bit more transparent and strategic about what's to come for our legacy high school. But I just really appreciate organizing the report in a way that is consistent, that people know what to expect. I think that creating that standardization and having that organization, it makes a difference to our stakeholders. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, a student, knowing that you can count on, that consistent information to keep coming, and that we're literally telling you, here's the schedule, you can expect it on this day, makes a difference. And I think it goes a long way into building trust with our community. So I just really appreciate that work is being done so intentionally like that. That, and then I also too want to say welcome to our student representatives. I do believe it's been too long. I think as we move along with everything that was been happening with Marysville, my hope is that this is something that we are able to bring our student reps in, October at least, not February, in the years to come. And that I do think that our student reps actually get, according to our new policy, an advisory vote now, right? I mean, that's something that we adopted in our last policy. So I think this is a great opportunity for you all to just get some practical, good skills, life experience, and welcome. We appreciate you being here. And then I think that's really it.
Okay, thank you. So, who wants to go first?
I just wanted to say I'm so grateful to be here and it's nice to see everyone's face. And I just wanted to add, a little note. I think it's amazing that we're recognizing February as CTE month. I would like to say like a lot of CTE classes are like a huge turning point in like a lot of children's life. And I just think all the recognition that was given today is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Gabe?
I would also like to say that it was an honor to be here. And it was nice to see that people from my school got to have a nice amount of allotted time to speak about their feelings about the matter of our school's closing. And I just thought it was a productive meeting.
Thank you. Well, it's always hard to be the last one. I want to thank all of those for attending and sticking out with us here in the room and the folks online. It was great to see unified sports here earlier today. Really appreciate all that Amy and her team is doing. And again, wonderful to have the CTE presentation. I'm super excited to have our student reps back with us. I will say, I got to do some of the interviews with Craig, and you guys, super impressive, really impressive. So we're thrilled to have you. With that, let's see, our the Marysville School District Board of Directors will meet in executive session, and I think we need to modify that because we're running a little bit behind this evening. Do we want to say 8:05? Give ourselves just a quick minute to, from 8:05 to 9:05, to evaluate the performance of a public employee and to meet in accordance with RCW 4230, 140. No action will be taken during or after the executive session meeting. And we will adjourn our regular session at 8 o'clock. There's no gavel.